Adele, the job is part of it. The meaning of the job for you is a lot of it. Um, you said that one of the issues was whether you were perfect or imperfect. I think another part of the job for you was having an income provide you with some potential independence and autonomy. You must have felt pretty vulnerable when you were shunned by other kids, and I imagine you probably had some abusive experiences. What having a job and having an independent income does for you is it gives you a certain kind of potential independence if you need it. So I think that the job really was of towering importance to you. And so it wasn't just the job, it was the meaning of the job. What it would be very important for you to do is use that insight to make the job a function and not a solution. It can't solve the problems of identity and perfection and imperfection. What it can do is provide some income so you can have a future that allows you to do the things that you want to do together.
You can buy things for me.
It's important for you to understand what the job means to her. She isn't choosing to ignore you. She was really functioning in the service of the past. But here's a good thing about Wesley. He wants to be with you. He values time with you. That is a wonderful alternative source of security for you, an alternative to having job perfection. So I'm asking him to cut a deal with his worry about being rejected. I'm asking you to cut a deal with the past and distribute some of those chips on the present and give him a chance to give you that same sense of acceptance and completeness, and allow him to help you feel okay. But you have to do it with your feet. You can't do it by meaning to do it. You've got to do it by clearly investing time. Now, she'll be more willing to do that if you're accessible to her. If you will put your hand on her shoulder, if you'll touch her when you walk behind her to get another cup of coffee, if you'll take her hand when you're walking.
If I keep telling him.
I'll keep telling you do, and you don't hear me either.
The reason that these things are down the middle of the page is that most of them are important to both of you. Now, what I would like you to do is add more things to the list. There's plenty of room for it. And then look at the list each morning. Remind yourself of what it is that it is important to do to nurture your marriage. And look at the list again each evening. And under the Wesley did it column, Adele, put in the date. If he tells you that he loves you and that he's committed to you in the car on the way home, then you would write 5. And if he tells you 3 times today, you'd write 3 5s. At the same time, if Adele does some of the things she does something that allows you to feel you come first, then you would put the date in. And the reason for that is that you probably don't acknowledge a lot of the positive things that go on. As from what I saw in the forums, both of you do your jobs, and there's a whole lot that works well. There are some things that are missing, some emotionally important things that are missing, but there's also a whole lot of good stuff, and it probably gets taken for granted. So, so some acknowledgement will be useful. But go back to second dates. Second dates are wonderful. First dates, you're too self-conscious. So second dates are better.
I remember the first one real well.
Now, what problems do you see? What's going to get in the way of this?
My mother, my job.
Well, your mother, I mean, that's family. As sick as she is, it has to be of importance. You have to be there for her.
But A lot of it, like I say, is me. I know I got a lot of things to change in my life too. Like I say, this idea of what's normal. I mean, to me, what's normal is to work till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. That isn't normal. I mean, the normal person doesn't do that, but it's just been normal in my life for so long that it's normal. The guilt feelings about things, sometimes I'm made to feel guilty about things just because I make myself feel guilty because I have felt guilty for so many years that I naturally take on the guilt. I mean, he can say himself, I'll say I'm sorry. I mean, you know, if he runs into the door or something, I'll say I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know, I just got used to doing it, I guess. And there's a lot of things I've got to come to terms with myself. Being abused as a child, and I've done a lot of reading and studying on that, and a lot of the characteristics, the compulsiveness, the guilt feelings, all of this stem from that, and I know there's a lot of things that I have to get through my head that weren't my fault at the time, and it's just going to take a lot of work.
And a lot of understanding. But if you keep giving Wesley the message that you know that these are problems and you really want to solve them in a way that's relationship friendly, if you ask for his help, this is a generous, caring guy. He'll offer it. Talk about it. You haven't identified a problem that I perceive as unsolvable. You haven't identified a problem that I see as very difficult. Where you got makes perfect sense. I understand how you got there. And the reason I can give guarantees is that it's equally clear to see how you get away from there. If you will both commit to treating every issue as a problem that requires a negotiated two-party solution, if you keep in mind that he feels rejected by you, just as you felt rejected as a child, so you're going to have to go a little out of your way to help him feel accepted. And if you keep in mind that she's still struggling with trying to be whole from the past, and she's not making a statement about you, she's still trying to solve the past, you can say to her, hey, I'm here, and this is now. So let's do stuff for us.
You just have to be there when I need you.
Yeah.
When I really, really needed you, you weren't, and that's what happened.
Yeah,
But she wasn't out playing pool with her buddies.
No.
Yeah, I tried to explain to him that's been a bad. I mean, I won't say it's a habit, but it's something I stay away from anytime I think there's going to be tragedy. When my father got real bad in the hospital, they called and told me, and I avoided going over. My mom got really bad. I avoided facing that situation. And when I thought something was going to happen to him, it's like I wanted to stay away until I knew things were going to be okay, and then...
Are you ready to commit now to be there for him?
Mm-hmm. Because I know the time that we were separated...
Would you take his hand?
Yeah, the time we were separated...
Would you tell him that I'm never going to let you down again that way?
I'm not going to let you down.
Okay.
Would you tell her that you're here for the long haul?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to stay.
And that you love her?
She knows I love her, and I do love her.
And that you love him?
I love him. I love you.
Love him. What's it?
Please do this. In all seriousness, there's an explanation on the front page about how to do it. In all seriousness, you could have a wonderful marriage. It really is your choice. You have all of the ingredients. Use insights that each of you have about what your vulnerabilities are. Understand the other's vulnerabilities and then work out a two-way solution. She'll work more than you think she should. You should work less than you think you should. And that's the solution. Any questions?
No.
You more optimistic now?
Yeah, somewhat.
Good. Should be.